Fuck, kill, spread death and destruction as they destroy. And we still do as we are told. Well, they make laws and pass bills, brainwashed by everything around us. All we see, perhaps they might get you, but for sure they're aiming at me.
Than ever with driverless cars on the road. That is the most insane invention known to mankind, to have cars with no frickin' drivers in them. I mean, are you people crazy or what?
AV cars stopped dead in front of me, getting onto the freeway, 2nd and Bryant, 13th and Van Ness. Stopped dead in front of me just for nothing. Nothing in front of it, no pedestrians, just brake checking. I have to basically make them basically movers around these vehicles because these just have a fault. They find a fault and just stop dead center. Multiple times I've come across these vehicles. They have actually just randomly accelerate, just out of nowhere. If this vote passes, it's going to kill a lot of gig workers, a lot of people who do deliveries, rideshare, help the elderly, disabled, and it will be bad for everybody.
We're proud that Cruise is building in San Francisco Union, right? We're proud that the partnership we've created with Cruise will make sure that Joel's jobs in their buildings, in their parking lots will be union. That's something that we have with the certainty that they will continue to work with us. But one thing I do want to be able to point out, our individual membership, our workers have always been invisible. And it's just pretty incredible that today we're partnering with the disabled community that is also challenged with being seen, being able to see. This is a big issue for us as a community. While there is no one coming to save us, there has to be a conversation at the table. Our local does not support the 10,000-pound vehicles. We do support AV vehicles, and this is why we're proud to have this agreement with Cruise today. On behalf of our 3,000 members and 3,000 that are on the bench, we stand with Cruise this morning. We have every intention of going in there to say our piece. But today, right now, the reality that all of my families are confronting is homelessness, no being able to have a job back. So while I welcome everyone into San Francisco, do not put us in a box. Do not put us in a box. We deserve to be able to have an opportunity. This is the future. And with that future, we have to be able to sit at the table with them. So thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias.
Thanks again, everybody. Vote's going to start, or hearing's going to start around 11 a.m. And if folks want to talk with folks on the side, we'll do our best to try to help arrange it with all the availability. But thank you. Thanks again.
Yep.
Oh yeah, thank you. Is that it?
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
Yeah. Do you want to talk with the Chronicle?
Sure.
Hey, I'm with the Chronicle. Nice to meet you, Olga.
Thank you.
Hey, just wanted to ask you to elaborate a bit. You know, what jobs do you see? You know, is Cruise? You know, the AV companies, are they going to bring? What have you heard from the companies? You know,
our janitors are cleaning their sites already, their offices. It's expanding into their parking lots, but also the opportunity to be able to have a pathway for other jobs within tech. And that's something that no other tech company is doing or saying. And you're the Chronicle, so you see this every damn day in the last 2 years. Every goddamn company is having fucking parties to leave San Francisco, ceremonies to say hasta la vista San Francisco. But right now, Cruise is one of the few tech companies that's saying we are betting on San Francisco, we want to stay in San Francisco, and instead of being lauded for it, they're being demonized. And so we're about jobs, and I'm about the families that I represent, and this is why I'm here today.
Sure. You know, there were taxi workers protesting, obviously a very, heated issue, but what would you say to those folks who are saying that their jobs are going to be impacted by this emerging technology?
Those are our sisters in labor and our brothers in labor as well, but taxis have been under assault since the creation of Uber and Lyft, and so we are not joining a new fight. They've been confronted with their placards being decommissioned. The worth of those placards are almost zero to none, but right now I'm only focused on the families I represent. I can't speak for everybody in labor. I've stood with my sisters and brothers in labor in every good fight, but right now it's about making sure that there's no insecurity for our families as well. And no one's coming for us. No one is coming to save us. We're organizing to make sure that the partnerships with crews serve us long term, and that's where we have that.
Was it an easy decision to partner with crews, or what did you and your members kind of take into consideration leading up to the partnership that you're describing?
We've been very transparent with all of our members. They understand what this means, and while there's in labor, there's always going to be some misunderstandings or some disagreements, better yet. But we also understand that while there's some folks who may disagree with our decision, respectfully, I got to represent our families, and that's the only I answer to them and them only.
And house cleaning question, are we talking hundreds of jobs, thousands of jobs?
We've lost, right now we have about 3,300 members on the bench, right? And we only have about 2,000 members working full-time. So for every person that celebrates, like yesterday at the SFO airport, there's this big PR campaign about everything functions remotely, meaning for court companies to operate remotely. For our families, our janitors, we don't have that luxury. So for every office worker that chooses not to come in, that's one more of my members that doesn't qualify for health insurance, doesn't get to be able to have a full paycheck. And so this is where all the insecurities and the more crisis leads to, right? So while people will disagree with our position today, I have to be able to answer to the families I represent today and tomorrow and next month and next year. And that's what I'm about.
I'm Jason Rabinowitz. I'm with Teamsters Joint Council 7. We represent 100,000 workers in Northern California and Northern Nevada, including tens of thousands of professional drivers. And we're here to say that we need to keep our roads safe. We need to protect our jobs from these robot vehicles. The technology is not safe. It's not ready. These tech companies only care about their own profits. It's up to these regulators to make sure that they stand up to these greedy tech companies, stand with workers, stand with drivers, stand with our community, and put the brakes on this and hold off. They shouldn't be rolling this technology out before it's safe, before it's ready. Tech industries that they're supposed to be regulating. That's not right. That's not how it ought to be. We ought to have regulators. We ought to have public servants that are going to really scrutinize the situation, that are going to question what these tech companies are telling us, because the tech companies, all they care about is their profits. They want to get a profit back to their investors. They don't care about our safety, our communities, our jobs. It's up to our regulators to do that. And these tech companies are asking us to question our own eyes and ears, what we're seeing in San Francisco, which is hundreds of accidents, traffic jams, interference with first responders. These robot taxis are not ready for prime time. The technology is not safe. It's not proven. Let's not rush to put it out there before it's ready.
How is it connected to the writers' strike and the AI? Is there a connection?
Absolutely. The corporations want robots to do all our jobs. They want robots to drive our cars. They want robots to write our TV shows and act in our movies and shows. They want to replace human beings with robots. These companies care about their profits. They care about robots. The labor movement, we care about people. We care about workers. We care about our communities. We saw the CEO of Cruise gave a press conference and talked about they were going to roll out 10,000 of these robot taxis. He didn't say one word about what are we going to do to protect all the professional drivers whose jobs are going to be impacted. What are we going to do with the families that have food on the table because of those jobs? What are we going to do with our economy when we lose all these jobs to robots? They don't care about that. They care about robots. They don't care about human beings.
And the California CPUC doesn't apparently look at the social cost. Unemployment, drivers losing their jobs. Why is that? And why is Governor Newsom, Google gave Governor Newsom $10 million in 2020. Think he's listening to the tech companies and not working people of California?
Well, the PUC and the governor should be standing with working people and standing with our communities, not with greedy tech companies and robots. And the time is coming for our elected officials and our regulators to choose sides here. And we're calling on the governor to stand with workers workers, to stand with drivers, to stand with our communities, our safety, over the greedy tech companies. And you know, he'll have a decision to make. We think it's an easy decision. Who are you going to stand with? Human beings, workers, communities, or robots and greedy tech companies?
And SEIU87, Olga Miranda is here. I think Waymo signed a contract to bring janitors into their office. She's in favor of the companies. What do you think about the problem? She's a vice president of the San Francisco Labor Council supporting these companies here.
Well, labor stands united, and we're going to give a statement today to the commissioners from all of the unions in California, the Teamsters, SEIU State Council, AFSCME, the California Federation of Labor. Labor stands united against these greedy tech companies trying to take our jobs and endanger our safety. So anyone that says labor's not united on this is wrong. And we've got the statement from United Labor. Labor stands together on this, and labor stands with our communities, with our public safety officers, our first responders, the city of San Francisco, and the residents that are concerned about the safety threats created by these robot vehicles.
And Goldman Sachs says 350 million workers may lose their job globally. I mean, that's a massive amount of job loss. I mean, are you concerned for your workers, for your members?
We're very concerned about that because you know, driver is the #1 job in California and many, many states. There are literally millions of households that are supported economically by professional driving jobs. And we need to be very, very careful as new technology comes out, that we roll it out in a way that is thoughtful, that takes care of our safety, our communities, our safe roads, but also that takes care of our jobs and our economy. The tech companies don't care about any of that. They just care about their profits. So who's going to look out for our jobs? Who's going to look out for our safety? Well, it's labor, the community, but also our elected officials and our regulators should be thinking about that.
I think that these companies can really be expected to look out, I mean, for the social costs. I mean, drivers, the people who are going to be destroyed.
They've made it. The tech companies have made it very clear that they don't care one bit about anything but their profits. The CEO gave a press conference. He said, "Oh, we're going to have 10,000 of these things taking drivers' jobs." He didn't say a word about how are we going to protect our economy from that catastrophe. How are we going to protect families that rely on these jobs? They don't care about that one bit. They just care about their profits. So that's why our elected officials, our regulators, need to be concerned about that, need to be dealing with that. That's the issue.
There's a strike now of the writers and the actors. And you think there should be more mobilization of members, educating them that all workers are affected, not just writers and actors, but the entire labor movement? I mean,
well, the entire labor movement has stood beside the writers and the SAG-AFTRA as they've been on strike, and I think it's because, well, that's what we do. We stand together, but also because the issues they're facing in terms of robots coming to take our jobs, that's an issue that faces every single industry, every single labor organization. So yes, we stand together with them.